Hi, I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Lacey.
And this is Women in the Trailer Industry. Today we have a guest speaker, Amanda Ferguson. Amanda, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Amanda Ferguson. I've been with the company for about 6 months now. Came in not knowing what to expect. Still don't know what to expect, but I'm enjoying it.
What did you do before you came to TTPO?
A lot of stuff. I've done...
Break it down for us.
I've done bail bonds. I've done office manager. The job just before this, I was actually in the oil field business as an office manager, helping running yards. We had multiple different yards, several different people, just trying to help keep it all in line.
What skills from those past places have best helped you here so far?
Probably I'd have to say just being able to multitask and knowing all different kinds of skills and knowing how to relate to different people. I mean, from working bail bonds, dealing with basically, inmates, basically, to oil field, which you've got, they're kids, oil field guys. Yeah. They're grown kids.
Yeah.
So you just learn to deal with different people, different atmospheres, and just learn to roll with it.
I can just say for me, I think one of the skills that you definitely have is being a quick learner, because we've definitely, since she's got here, thrown the book at her and new stuff. I mean, she's picked up so much. So yeah, definitely quick learner and good with your processes. And it's just so refreshing.
Yes, definitely for someone who can just come in and pick up where
and be familiar with the industry, but not like know specifically all our parts or how we do this or that. Like it's just been so nice.
And just be willing to learn. I know throwing the book at her consists of pretty much opening a new business, and for us that's manufacturing axles and learning the operations of that and how it all works. And so Amanda, tell me a little bit about how you tackled that, I guess, project. What was your first step when you went into that?
Honestly, the first step was, I sat down and I looked at the different parts that were going to go into it. Because I didn't know. When I started working here, I really don't know much about trailers. I know, you have your axles, you have your tires, you have your leaf springs, but there was so much more that went into it. And so just looking into, idlers, brakes. I had no idea.
What are we going to need to make this happen?
Yeah.
Grommets, wire grommets.
Yeah, and that was stuff that you'd brought in. I would have never thought about that. And so kind of looking over the spreadsheets that you had and then, just kind of digging in, that's where I was able to go off your spreadsheet and make my spreadsheet. And then once you do that, it just kind of started all kind of.
And then it's always a learning curve too. Still to this day, we're like, wow, who knew we would have needed that? Spring seats. I know when we ran out, I was like, well, didn't think we would need those for some reason.
Right. The current conundrum of tie plates. You're just trying to figure out all the things that go into that you really don't know unless you're putting the pencil to paper and walking through the motions to do it.
And getting excited about, more products and more, and then you're like, oh wait, but we need this, it's never ending. I have learned that it's never ending.
And I will say too, I know just being on the other end of like when I work with the Trailer Parts Outlook, like our parts here, and back when we were first creating our SKU systems and stuff, I know that now you have your own experience with that, with the axle manufacturing side. Just what all things that you need to think about that can be long-term and not something that you're going to have to change quickly.
And that's one thing I've been able to learn from you and going through all of your SKUs with you and helping with Amazon and stuff, knowing, okay, well, this used to be this and now it's this and change this.
And why do we change it? So that we don't have to have this issue
that's
again.
What I'm trying to do while creating for the axle manufacturing part, trying to create it to where it's long-term. It's one thing across the board that we won't have to change.
And it's branding too, right? There's a lot of heavy stuff that goes into this, right? So everything that we're going to put on these axles, people are going to see, and that's going to be our brand. So we want it to be top notch. We want it to be recognizable and in a good way, not a bad way.
Right.
As far as people watching this and some advice you can give starting on a new project, coming into a new company, what's some advice you could give those people to excel in their projects?
Be, for one, open-minded, ready to learn, and also it's hard at times, but don't get overwhelmed. Know your boundaries and know, okay, I'm getting to that point. I need to step back. I need a breather. Don't take on too many projects at one time. You've got to really kind of multitask, but in sections. Bouncing from one thing to another. That kind of gives me a little bit of excitement, but I have my limits. I'm like, okay, now that's too much. I've got to stop. I've got to slow down. So the biggest deal, know your limits.
It's so awesome that you're saying that too, because we've had like a full episode on knowing your boundaries, and it's so important. And if you do know them, then you're going to be able to tackle whatever your task is or whatever your project is. But your boundaries are super important. But we haven't even talked about the most interesting dynamic of this whole thing is you get to work with your husband.
Oh, goodness. I haven't shot him yet, so we're doing good.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that. So what I want to know is, no knocking on your husband or anything, but what is the most rewarding thing about getting to work with your husband? Because not a lot of people get that dynamic. And what is something that you guys, as any married couple, would struggle with in working together in that situation?
To be honest, we don't really have a whole lot of struggles. The biggest part is, honestly, me, because I'm like, I want this done now. Like, I really don't know I do know their side of it because I have been out there helping a little bit, but I'm not out there lifting the axles. I'm not out there doing all that. So on my side, I'm like numbers. It should take this amount of time, when they're out there and it's not getting done. So I'm like, why is this not getting done?
He's like, because I'm actually doing it.
Right.
So here's what's real.
Exactly.
Yeah, and as a side note, at the beginning of this, Amanda was out there helping them pull the parts, weld the axles together.
Yeah,
all the things.
I still do. I was out there, all of those 4-on-4 hubs there today. I went and pulled all those apart.
Yeah, you did.
She has the knowledge of also that to tell them they need to be faster and to be more efficient. And unfortunately, the manufacturing model is based on efficiency and productivity.
Right.
So that is the numbers you have to look at.
Right.
But I think that the funny thing, well, it's not funny, it's just interesting, is that not only do y'all work in the same company, but you work in the same division, right? So he is actually on the ground making the axles and overseeing that, and you're the one putting the numbers behind it, ordering the parts, whatever that takes to get those ready for them to build. So what would you say is your most rewarding part about getting to work together?
Just being around each other. Honestly, before we were here, we were at our last job. We worked together too. We've probably been doing that for about 4 years now. And to be honest, outside of work, we talk about work.
Yeah.
And we do have, we have 3 kids, so, that keeps us busy as well. But just having something in common, it's just another, we've been together for 17 years, we've been married 17 years, together 18 years.
Wow.
So that just gives us another item or another, topic to bond over, basically.
Right, for sure.
So it just kind of keeps it rolling.
Caitlin has this experience. If you guys don't know, her and her husband used to work together.
Trying to keep back the cough. I'm sorry. On that, I wanted to say it becomes a passion project too. It's something you work on together. You're inspired on it, and eventually you may lose that passion and lose it, but it's fun. It's fun while it is.
Especially right now, since we are both working on the same project. We are both still kind of, building the same project. Yeah. We both kind of have the same goals and have the same mindset. We want to go big with it. Like Brandon said, his biggest thing is he wants to sell back to China. He wants to, he's like, I want to push him overseas. He's like, I want to go big. And we both have that same goal, so that helps a lot too, having the same mindset.
Yeah. And it's fun. It makes it so much fun too. So you did speak a little bit about, you have 3 kids. How old are they? What are their names?
They're all pretty much, well, not grown, but they think they're grown. I have he'll be 17 in 2 months. His name is Cody. I've got a 15-year-old daughter, Zany, and then we have a 12-year-old son, Trace.
And what is, in a previous episode, we talked about work-life balance. How do you balance that, and how have you in the past with having 3 kids? And at this point in their life, they're all in different things and doing different things. And I know one of them just now is able to drive. So how did you manage all that and work at the same time?
Yeah, we've talked a lot about having little kids and our balance. So your balance is going to be probably different.
Yeah. It's fun from time to time. Even now, Cody does drive, but he can't officially drive just yet. He still has a couple months because we had to wait to get his driver's license. They're all 3 into different things, and it was fun there for a while. We had dance and volleyball and baseball and softball, and at one point Cody was doing powerlifting.
You needed an extra driver.
We needed two extra parents.
Yeah, for sure.
And really, I've actually been kind of fortunate. My jobs have been allowed me to work on the road if I need to from time to time. A lot better at this one than the last one, but we have had that opportunity to be able to do that. So Brandon would go to one game, I'd go to one game. While in between games, I'm working on my computer. We've always made it work. His parents help out a lot. My parents help out. So you have to rely on other people, but just.
Gotta make it work.
How was the transition? Just because I'm so curious, I'm not there yet, but how was the transition from having kids in daycare to kids in school, or some in daycare then some in school, to just all your kids are in school, right? So it's not that little kid vibe that you always got, that I have going, you have going all the time.
You're going to miss it.
I'm going to miss it?
You're going to miss it. I miss my littles.
Yeah.
I do, but I love my kids. I mean, my kids are pretty good. They're now at the stage you can really joke with them, especially my 2 older kids.
Yeah.
They're really, as a younger kid, they have their own personality, but as getting older, they can cut the jokes with you. And we were at the Mexican restaurant the other night, and when my husband drinks, he gets a little bit of a lazy eye. And
calling him out.
For real. Now we know his secrets.
Yeah, he's about it. I'm like, Brandon, what you been drinking?
Right. But my oldest, at the dinner table, it's him and his friends and all that, and he's in there calling him out, Captain Popeye.
Oh my gosh.
So just being able to cut up with them like that, and that's what I enjoy about this. Yeah. My youngest one, he's still kind of in that middle stage. He thinks he's a big kid and he wants to cut up.
His siblings are all older, so he's trying to be like them.
But he's still learning that there's a time and a place to cut up and to, because we kind of allow our kids to have a little bit of freedom, with their, not speech. They're not allowed to cuss or anything like that. But, if they want to kind of roast us or, joke with us and stuff like that. Well, the youngest, he doesn't quite know the time when to do that. He'll kind of come at me when I'm mad or when I'm upset. And I'm like, it's not the time, Trace. Just calm down.
I feel like that's every baby of the family, though, because they're the last ones and they see all their older siblings getting to do whatever they want. In their eyes, whatever they want to do. And so it's hard for them. My little brother's a baby, of our family. And I just sometimes look at him and be like, you're such the baby. They just have this, not that they act like babies, but it's just a difference. They're just their last kid. You naturally are going to be more coddled because you're the last one. Caitlin.
I have my opinions. I'm just keeping them quiet over here.
I'm the older sibling. You're the younger sibling.
I'm the older one. And
we get away with pretty much everything. So
get away with it, but you do kind of get, I guess, worn down a little bit.
So as I said,
we just say the parents are tired and they just gave up by the time the 4th one comes around. So.
What would you give parents out there, working parents? What is your one piece of advice about raising teenagers?
Pick your boundaries. Pick your battles. learn to trust versus making them gain your trust. Kids that age, they're going to be kids. Remember your teenage years.
We were all kids once.
We were all there. Just, my daughter is a handful. She's a good girl, but she has her daddy's attitude. So she'll
Brandon's
start
getting roasted.
she'll start, kind of getting her little attitude, and y'all, she's had a bad day. Just have to back off and let her breathe. And Mom, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pop off at you like that. So the biggest deal is just knowing your battles. Just
absolutely, in anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the TTPO is the Trailer Parts Outlet. For those who don't know, when we say TTPO,
we always say TTPO.
I know. It is very fortunate to have you and have someone who can come in and start a project, learn, be open to discussion, open to ideas.
Taking on new stuff that's handed to you as it's handed to you. I mean, we're a growing company, but we're still considered a pretty small company. And so we all share stuff like responsibilities, and you've come in and taken it like a champ, and we really appreciate it.
So before we go, what's the last bit of advice you want to give the viewers on just anything as far as coming into the new company, how to handle work-life balance, anything? What's your best advice?
Honestly, I don't know.
All the things.
All the things.
Yeah, pretty much. Just, again, keep an open mind, learn what you can, even if it's, you have to do a little bit of research after hours, or, don't get down on yourself. If there's something that you immediately don't know and immediately can't do, have to know, hey, this is a learning process, and kind of be easy on yourself, as well as keeping an open mind and knowing you will get to that point.
For sure. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here today with us. It's been fun.
Yes.
We appreciate you being here.
All right.
Don't forget, guys, to like us on YouTube, follow us, listen to us wherever you stream your podcasts, and we'll see you next time.